Okay guys, so this is the Green Carpenter. I'm going to talk about tools in this video. As I said in my first welcome video, you don't need a whole lot of tools for my first project that I'm showing you, the coffin. I have a very meager amount of tools, at least I would say. I've acquired these from Christmas. My stepdad, or not my stepdad, but my father-in-law bought me a whole Ryobi set with, it came with 4 tools. First and foremost, the tool I think every man should have is a power drill. I don't care if it's corded. I don't care if it's cordless. Get yourself a power drill. Just get a drill. You can get different chucks, bits. I personally like to use bits. Right now, I'm currently using Spax screws. These Spax screws, they have star bit. I don't know the technical term, but you can see that. The bit basically has it comes with the Torx bit. So, from what I know it as. Each box of Spax comes with its own bit. That's really good. You're gathering tools up as you're buying hardware. That's what I say. So, and I really like it because these screws don't strip. I have yet to strip a screw. I've done about 5 projects, small here and there projects, but I have yet to strip a screw. I'm more likely to strip the bit. My wife is more likely to strip the bit. My son is more likely to strip the bit than strip the screw. So I really like the Spax stuff. I'm not sponsored in any way. I'm brand new to woodworking. Nobody's asked me in any of my videos to plug or to basically, I don't get any money from this at all. It's a hobby for me. It's something so that I stop drinking so much beer. Because I'm pretty much a functioning alcoholic. But Spax screws, they come with a bit. They come in various varieties, sizes, shapes, lengths. That's what I use. I like using the extender. So I put my bit in the extender. I throw it in my Ryobi. Ryobi, not bad. Cheap. Cool. No problem. I got this from my father-in-law, all my Ryobi tools, except for one, which we probably won't go into because it's not a woodworking tool. It's my pole saw to chop the trees down in my house. The other tool that I have gotten for this project is I called my wife into getting me a brad nailer. It's good for some of the molding work that you're going to see later on in the video, in my first video, sorry. And this is just where I started using a brad nailer. Good tool to kind of have. It helps set stuff up pretty well, especially if you're using glue, at least in my opinion. The next tool that I used in my first project, brand new Green Woodworker here. I got, like I said, the 3-in-1 set with a power saw. Basically, that's how I know it. It's a power saw. It works really good. It's got adjustable fence. This part is called the fence. You can adjust it up to 50 degrees to go sideways. I haven't used it that way necessarily. I tested it out because I thought it was fun on a scrap piece of wood. You also can go up so that your blade only hits a certain amount. Good for doing cuts through half of the wood instead of the whole piece of wood. Jointing, I guess it's good for, from what I understand. And that is basically that. I haven't had a use for it in my first project, so we're just going to go with it. The other thing that I have used in my first project, these are the first tools that I have bought. A clamp. Clamps are good. This is a quick clamp. You just squeeze it and it clamps anything. You can clamp your finger. It hurts, but you can do it. Next tool I conned my wife into buying, and she's going to hate me for this video, is my belt sander. In my first video, it seems like I'm really partial to this belt sander. Don't really give a crap. I think it was $35 at Harbor Freight. I buy a lot of Harbor Freight tools because I don't have a lot of money. My wife, she's doing a doctorate program, and I just need something so that I can get a little bit skinnier and stop drinking so much. Okay, belt sander. Going back to clamps, I found this little bad boy at Harbor Freight. Great clamp. You can go all the way up. Huge clamp. Don't know what it's called, but it works really well on my first project called the coffin. Other tools that I have, and I've gotten for my very first big project, sandpaper, different grits, different sizes. You can use these for whatever you're going to use them for. Sanding the wood, basically, making it flat, flush, making it so it looks nice and smooth, ready to take stain or paint. Another thing that I bought for my first project, miter saw. Miter saw, because we're going to use it in some molding on my first project to make my first project look nice, and a miter box. $7, $8 at Home Depot. Pretty good. It's not a miter saw like a power saw, but it works, and it's going to make me get a little bit skinnier, hopefully. Other first things that I have, a speed square. God knows I don't know how to use this thing all the way, but I do know how to make my board square. Put this side against the flush side of the board. Make sure it's already pre-cut. Most of the time, if you get the wood from Home Depot, it usually is, hopefully. And you just draw your lines. It's got indented tape measure. Really good for making precise cuts. Speed square, everybody, get one. I think this was like $5, $10 maybe at Home Depot. Another thing I have is a straight edge or a level. This makes a great straight edge. You use this in conjunction with the clamps. You clamp it on, you use your speed square to make it level, or to make it square. You clamp this on, and then you go ahead and you use your chop saw, or your saw, circular saw is what it's called, to start cutting. Okay? This is the circular saw. Sorry, I forgot the name. It's a circular saw. All my Ryobi tools are cordless. It don't matter. Corded, cordless. Hey, you know, you can get cordless tools for cheaper. My father-in-law bought this, so hey, I don't even care how much it costs. You put it up against the fence, put it up against there, beep, cut really straight lines on wood, lumber, plywood, whatever. One thing to note, though, when doing this, you always have to account for the fence. You see the line right here? Basically, there is markings on the other side that tell you how many inches, or it's basically a tape measure. Again, most tools have a tape measure on them, depending on the tool you're buying. So, this little mark, from what I have measured, is about an inch from this side to this fence. So, I use this. I measure an inch away from my cut line. Put that up against there and cut that. Make sure that you are measuring an inch from your line, clamping it down with a clamp, an inch from your line. Any questions, give me a call. Or, sorry, post in the bottom of this. I don't want nobody calling me. I already get too many calls in my business. But, yeah, that's the easiest way to make a straight edge, in my opinion, especially if you're going over plywood or something like that. Now, if you get a really big sheet of plywood, I would say use a 2x4. get a really straight 2x4 from Home Depot, clamp it to that piece of plywood, you're good to go. It may not be perfect. Let's say I don't have a planer. I don't have a, what you call that table that you put on there. It's not a planer. It's a joiner. I don't have a joiner. That's not me. I don't have that much money. So these are some of the tools I'm using on my first project. Most of them cost under $35. I think the set of Ryobi, the 3-in-1, it comes with a not a jigsaw, but a saber saw or a sawzall is what I call it. I think that costs $139, and they're all power or cordless. Okay, there you go. Another tool I have for my first project is an orbital sander. You get a Black & Decker at Walmart for about, I think it was $25, maybe $30. I don't know, maybe a little bit more. The paper I use, it does come with paper. You can get paper specifically matched to this. I found some good sandpaper made by 3M. It works really good for me. As you see, 10 times faster. Lasts 10 times longer. Non-slip, grip backing, blah, blah, blah. I cut this down to fit my orbital sander. I get extra pieces like this. I save my extra pieces of sandpaper so that I can use for my hand work, where I have to, let's say, smooth out a piece of molding, which is in my first project. That's it. The other tools that I've just acquired are pretty simple, easy tools. I got a hammer, I got more clamps. I have a jigsaw. This is my jigsaw. Haven't really used it a whole lot. Most of my cuts that I have to do in a circular fashion or something like that, I try to buy at Home Depot. For a project I was doing for shelves, they had these nice little fancy routed triangular pieces. And I use those to actually build shelves. Maybe in a separate video I'll show you some of the stuff that I've built. But this costs like $35 at Walmart. Like I said, each tool that I basically have, I've only spent maybe $50. I think for the brad nailer, you have to get a brad nailer, you have to get an air compressor, you got to get a hose, and you got to get some fittings. I think in total that cost me $112 out the door, and it's worked really well. Thing about getting tools from Harbor Freight, I don't buy the warranty that Harbor Freight sells. If it breaks, it was $50. So that's kind of what I use. Maybe not the greatest quality of woodworking, but remember, I'm the green woodworker. I don't have a lot of money, and I'm just doing this for a hobby and starting out. I'm going to try to make it look nice. That's why I say constructive criticism is always welcome. It's always welcome, always happy to hear from other experts in this field, but I mean, I'm trying to change here and there, but I'm not going to go out and buy a $500 tool or a $300. I think my son priced them at Lowe's at $398 brad nailer when I can get a $50 brad nailer at Harbor Freight, and it works just as good. So that is my rundown of tools on my first project. Please subscribe to my channel. I'd really like to hear you guys' feedback. Constructive criticism, please. Trolls, hit the door. Have a good one. Thank you.